listeners, and welcome to the Liberty Mike podcast, broadcasting from an undisclosed location in the heart of Dixie. I am Michael, and I'm here with Liberty Larry.
How's it going?
Doing all right. How are you?
Pretty good.
I'm not on any heavy drugs this time, so
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
You winging yourself off,
yeah.
not having too much pain.
It hasn't been awful.
Yeah.
It's like an ache.
Those are
No.
the worst, though. I mean,
Yeah.
I guess that's not the worst. There's definitely worse, but it sucks.
Yeah. Actually, though, the last 2 days, so that's like day 7 and 8 since the surgery,
Yeah.
have been some of the worst.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Is it like, I guess things are finally coming together to the point where I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
I
It
give up.
sucks, though,
I give
right?
up trying to
Yeah.
explain it. No
Yeah.
idea.
Maybe the drugs. You're just getting used to the drugs.
Yeah. Well, I haven't been taking the drugs.
Oh,
Well, I've been
well.
taking like the anti-inflammatory
Well,
and
maybe that's the problem. You
and
haven't
the-
been taking the drugs.
pain medicine. Well, I haven't been taking the pain pill though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I've been taking the anti-inflammatory and the nerve. Well, I mean that's a kind of a pain medicine. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not as. It's like. I guess what I'm taking is the one for nerve inflammation and the one for tissue inflammation. Those are
Yeah.
the drugs that I'm taking. And I haven't been taking like the actual pain medicine.
Yeah.
And I definitely was like immediately after the surgery. So those I'm sure would have been worse days if
Yeah.
I hadn't been drugged up.
Yeah. But you did a good job of staying ahead of it.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah. I mean,
Seems so.
Yeah. That's good.
Not so much anymore though. Yeah. But I got good news from the doctor on Wednesday, so
That's good.
yeah. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah. I was thinking about the that kid that attended the BCLP
Oh,
meeting the other day.
yeah.
Carter, I think.
Yeah.
I hope he's listening.
Well, he might
'Cause-
be. He definitely took down the podcast information. So.
Yeah. Because he was talking about the no cell phones in schools.
Oh,
thing.
yeah. Yeah.
And he was saying this was a follow-up to what do we think of Kay Ivey, which I thought was a funny way of introducing the topic, actually.
Yeah.
But he was saying that he thought that she'd overstepped her authority as governor by banning cell phones in schools.
Yeah.
And like I didn't say it at the time, and I thought more about it on the way home, and I was thinking, no, man, you've already lost this argument. Like
Yeah.
you've already given away the game because you're at a public school.
So that's an assumption. I'm not actually sure that that's true. Me and my wife were talking on the way home. We don't know where he goes to school.
Well,
And
he said,
did he say it is
Yeah,
public school?
yeah.
Okay.
Well,
He
okay.
only gave us I only remember him giving a city, which I don't want to like give out on. The
yeah,
podcast.
exactly. But I thought that he was saying public school.
We made that assumption, but I don't know that that's true.
Okay.
Because me and my wife were talking about that, and what we didn't know, part of the reason it came up was like, so did Kay Ivey ban it in all schools?
She
or
can't
only,
have.
You don't think so?
I don't think so.
Once again, we're talking about overstepping. How far are we going to overstep?
Well, okay. If this ban applies to private schools, then absolutely she overstepped. All right. So
I don't know that. I
Yeah,
don't
that's
know.
the point that I was trying to make, though.
Yeah.
Is that like if she's creating some kind of fiat that controls behavior in private schools, then absolutely she overstepped her authority.
Yeah.
But if we're talking about public schools, and I think that that's the only school that she can actually make that ban and that she could affect that ban in,
Yeah.
then you could pretty easily make the argument that the governor of the state of Alabama is actually the ultimate authority over the state of Alabama's public school system.
Yeah. I still think I don't like it. I still think it's, I don't know.
I don't like it either. I mean,
Yeah.
I say I don't like it. Actually, I like the idea a lot. I
Yeah.
think that it's ineffective.
Yeah. Well, it's absolutely ineffective. I can attest to that.
Yeah. You got a teenager in school.
Yeah,
so,
I've still got one in school, and I promise you it doesn't work.
Yeah. I think that that's ineffective. I think that I think that cell phones have been like a bane on public life, and I don't mean that in terms of like government, whatever.
Yeah, just in general.
In general, for a really long time.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. It reminds, and like I say, I haven't attended school since cell phones got really big, but I remember when I was in school, a big distraction, we had the uniforms. And so you had to wear the uniform, and the shirt had to be tucked in, the whole 9 yards. And particularly the shirt tucking in, but the whole uniform in general, it was just a distraction that certain administrators like made it their mission to make sure every shirt was tucked in and every person was in proper uniform. And it was more of a distraction than it helped.
Yeah. And I understand the purpose of that one a little better in terms of like the school's interests, like social interests, I guess.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to cut out the bullying that arose from
people who are kids that can
socioeconomic differences.
Yeah,
but like those socioeconomic differences were still apparent in their uniform stuff. Like even with uniforms, it's still apparent.
Yeah.
So again, it's another rule that was like ineffective. Yeah. I understand why teachers wouldn't want cell phones in their classrooms, but I think that that's up to the teachers to do. I would absolutely have zero problem whatsoever with teachers like having a basket like right next to the door, and like the rule was you walk in, you drop your cell phone in.
Yeah, and I actually support that. Like that's my thing is, and if that had been the mandate from Kate Ivey, I'd support it.
Yeah.
That'd be the classroom rules. Like every classroom, phones go in the box, blah blah blah. But where I feel like it's overstepping is when the kids are on their own time, still at school, not having access to their phone.
Yeah, absolutely. What happens when there's a school shooting?
Yeah. Well, I mean that's true. I know you're.
That's not happening here. I don't think. Well, actually, things have changed a lot. Like I remember. Yeah. That wouldn't have happened in my day.
Well, yeah. I mean, in our day, it was different. This wasn't really happening in our time.
Well, by the time you graduated, there'd been
Columbine was in '99.
Yeah,
and
you graduated 2001, right?
Yeah. So yeah, like I say, towards the end of my time in school is when this kind of started to become a thing.
Yeah.
So
I get it on their side too. Like I understand the purpose of this as well, is that cell phones are a distraction to kids in a classroom.
Yeah, I 100% agree.
Like they're holding it below the desk and they're playing a match 3 game or whatever, you know, like that's, I'm sure that that's happening.
Oh yeah. And this is an effort to try to stop that.
But if KIV is banning cell phones in public schools, then I don't think she's overstepping her authority. I think it's well within her authority to make that proclamation.
Yeah.
I mean, I just don't think it'll work.
I have a problem because they have the same thing in government buildings. You're not supposed to take your cell phone in those either. And I have a problem with that too.
Well, like courtrooms and stuff. Yeah.
I'm not sure which buildings it is, but it's a lot of buildings that you're not allowed to bring cell phones into at all.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that too.
They probably don't want pictures. I mean, but it's the same. Like if I had a rule in my house that said you couldn't bring your cell phone in, it's well within my authority to have that rule in my house.
Problem is I'm not compelled by the government to come in your house.
Yeah.
And to go in some of those buildings, I don't have a whole lot of choice.
Yeah. Well, I understand what you mean, but I think that they're within their rights to regulate their own environment.
Yeah.
I mean, I think your problem there is that you're forced to go there.
That's my complaint. Like if Walmart was going to say I can't go,
that's a separate complaint, though.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
it is. It's a separate complaint than their ability to regulate their own environment.
Yeah. No, I understand what you're saying. Yeah.
Anyway,
I don't know. As far as like,
I think if he wants to argue about it, he needs to argue about whether there should be public schools or not.
Oh, well, there's that. But your argument about cell phones being a bane on society is so true, and only getting worse with AI. I mean, this is something like 10 years from now, we're gonna see some of the effects of like people just like not being able to do simple problem solving. I mean, that is coming quick, dude. Like AI has only been a thing for a short amount of time here, and you can already start to see it.
Yeah. Well, what I was telling them the other night when we were talking about AI is that like if you think AI is so good, then start asking it questions about something that you know a lot about.
Yeah. And then start taking that into account whenever you ask it about something you don't know about. Yeah. Like, how much does it really know? Because, I mean, I'm not saying it can't give you like a nice little overview or something like that, but the depth of knowledge there isn't, at least what you're going to get in the summary. Now, if you start diving deeper, you can get there.
You can get more information, but my point is that you'll find that like it gets things wrong.
Well, it does. It absolutely
If you're
does.
asking it about something that you know a lot about, you'll see a bunch of errors.
You'll see where the errors are at, yeah.
And you just kind of have to assume then that when you're asking it about something that you don't know much about, there are errors in that too.
You're going to get the same thing. Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And I'm sure it'll improve, but all it's doing is predicting the next word. If there's a bunch of BS out there on the internet, then that's what you're going to get.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, there's always a bunch of BS on the internet.
Exactly.
So. Internet ain't getting better in that respect.
Yeah. The cell phones, particularly the social media stuff, I think that it's terrible for us. And like, you know, I've said many times that we started outsourcing our memories to our phones long ago.
Yeah.
Like I used to have 30, 40 phone numbers in my head when I was a
that's
kid.
a testable thing, just as far as like ask somebody for a cell phone number. And there's nobody can remember cell phone numbers.
I know yours and my mom's. Yeah. I think those are the only cell phone numbers I know at this point.
Well,
my brother's.
Yeah, my wife's and my mom's and mine.
Yeah.
That's the only
Well, I know
three.
my own, yeah.
That's the only three I have.
I do have to like run through the whole thing. If somebody asks me for the last 4 digits, I have to give them the whole phone number.
Yeah, I'm the same way too. Yeah.
Like, no, I got to start at the beginning.
Yeah. Another funny one that's that way for me is the safe combinations. At my house and my work, like I can't tell you a safe combination. I have to like put it in or do the combination and recite it because I can't. Numbers don't stick in my head that way.
I have to do that with passwords, like all these passwords for various software programs that I have to use here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
I can't tell you exactly what the password is. I have to run my hand through the pattern.
Yeah, I'm the same way. Yeah.
But anyway, we started outsourcing our memories to our phones long ago, and then I guess we started outsourcing any kind of communication through our phones. So people are like younger people can be really uncomfortable with face-to-face communication, which I think is really awful. Like you have to be able to talk to somebody that's in front of you.
Well, and some of that is just being young. Because I was absolutely that way younger, and the older I've gotten, the more comfortable I've gotten with that type of thing. But I remember being like a young teenager, like trying to like place orders in places and stuff like that, just being nervous about that type of thing. Yeah. But the difference is that it's worse with the young people now.
Anybody listening that hasn't been listening for a long time, like go back to the first few episodes and count the number of words that Liberty Larry uses in an episode.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, like you could probably do it on 2 hands just about.
Yeah. Yeah. That's true.
But now with the AI stuff, like people are outsourcing all of their thinking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it does atrophy. Like if you don't use that part of your brain, it stops working.
It's going to stop. Yeah, exactly.
Your brain is energy intensive. Like your body's always trying to conserve energy. So
yeah. I mean, I work with the public, and multiple times just this week, I can think of instances where I've had somebody come and ask me a question, and they preface the question with, I asked AI and y'all don't have good reception in here, or I didn't get an adequate answer. And so now they're asking me, but it's just like
nervously.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. Very nervously. So a couple of times, in fact, one in particular this week, like I asked that person if they needed help because clearly they did.
Yeah. And just think about how much, I mean, it's only going to be for the older people that can even recognize this probably, but just spatial recognition and understanding, like how to get from place to place.
Yeah.
Like I have seen younger people that need to use some kind of directions app, navigation app to get to their home from places.
Yeah.
Like, and they don't know how to get anywhere without something instructing them, turn here, turn here, turn here.
My youngest is that way. I just don't understand it. Like, there's no reason that kids shouldn't be able to navigate Baldwin County blindfolded. And as much as she's rode around, but like you've got to give her like directions. Like she needs, I don't know. It's a thing, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's pretty sad too. Like this is an important part of our biology actually through over time is being able to use landmarks and determine directions and find your way to places that aren't on a map. And like for me, it's been a long time, but I still feel like you could drop me in the woods with a map and a compass and I can find my way to wherever it is. I can figure out where I am and I can find my way to somewhere else.
Yeah, I doubt that most can do that. Like,
well, most people don't know how to read a map at all anymore.
Yeah, telling the kids that we used to make trips with just like a map or MapQuest or like something like that.
Yeah.
They were like astounded. Like
I still look at maps before I go places that I don't know.
Yeah.
Like if I'm going someplace new, I mean, now I go to the computer and I go to Google Maps or whatever.
Yeah.
But I still like pull up
you want to see
map.
it on the map. Yeah.
And like I don't know, those that are astounded that we did things like that. That was when I was young. That was just called going somewhere.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Like that was just part of the process of going somewhere.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Anyway, all that stuff's been lost. We got a little bogged down in that. I didn't mean to spend that much time on that.
Kind of went down the trail there.
Yeah. I did want to address something from the last podcast, like an argument that I got about the Fed and my position that it really is a government entity, despite it being privately owned.
Yeah.
Okay, like I'm trying my best with this argument. So
you're going to straw man it.
Yeah, I don't intend to straw man it. I'm trying to steel man it.
Oh, okay.
It's essentially that the Fed is privately owned. There are individual people who are not accountable to the government that own the thing.
Okay.
And while the government can regulate it, those same people that are rich and powerful enough to own parts of the Federal Reserve can buy off enough government officials that the regulation doesn't affect them, so that it essentially acts independently of the government.
Yeah, except for where it's regulated in the submission.
Well, sure, but my argument I think still holds true because it doesn't have freedom of action. They have to buy off who? People in government.
The government, yeah.
So
I agree.
And I think you can make that argument for most industries, honestly, at this point.
So when you were saying that, that's kind of where my mind was going. I mean, technically, when you think about it, the auto industry is the same way.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about an industry that's just so regulated that, how much of it is private versus public?
Yeah. And I think where I really take exception to the idea here is that the argument is trying to make the point that the problem with the Federal Reserve is that it's privately owned.
Yeah.
I mean, at least this person's point was that.
That was
that if we nationalized it, if we made it a public property, that we wouldn't have the problems with the Federal Reserve. If we made it subject to the democratic process, we wouldn't have the problems with the Federal Reserve that we have with it, because the people that are privately own the various aspects of the Federal Reserve, that they're self-interested.
Well, obviously.
And I'm like, well, yeah, but every institution
I mean,
is run by people that are doing what they can within that institution to benefit themselves.
Well, that's what I was going to say. I mean, it will be no different if the government runs it. You're still going to have people running it, and they will be self-interested.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, imagine if every time they decided to expand the money supply, it went to a vote.
Yeah.
Do you think that the public is going to rein in credit expansion or expansion of the money supply? The vast majority of the public believes that if you just increase wages, that everything would be fixed.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, I don't think that
I've had that argument made to me countless times.
Yeah. So I don't think that it's improved. And then the other point that I would make is look at the European Central Bank.
Yeah,
the European Central Bank is what you're talking about. I mean, it's run by the national central banks.
Yeah.
Control it, but the national central banks are publicly operated in Europe.
Okay.
So this is an actual public institution in Europe, and the European Central Bank is not doing a better job than the Fed.
No.
In fact, you could make the argument that it's doing a worse job.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. And then
my argument would be, I mean, what entity has the government ever took over and then managed better?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, if you can come up with one, I'd love to hear it. But
well, it's funny. Like after I got this email, I was listening to this interview from somebody making a political scientist making a similar argument. I was trying to get a deeper understanding. And that person like finished it off and said that if the public knew anything, that they would nationalize the central bank, the healthcare system, the military system, and energy production. They would nationalize all of those things because all of those things need to be operated in the public interest, not in private interest.
Well, I want to have some of those things, and that scares me.
Yeah, exactly.
Like the government having control of those things.
So that goes back to your point that you made before. Like, when has the government ever taken over anything and managed it better?
Exactly.
I would say that one of the big problems with all of those industries is that they are so heavily regulated by the government.
Exactly.
All of those industries.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So... like, I understand the point that he's making that, okay, these are institutions that need to be operated for the public good, not the private good. But in a good free market system, they would be operated for the public good because that's how you make money.
Yeah, exactly. The profit incentive is a strong incentive.
Yeah, to appeal to the public.
Exactly.
So, I think that people are off base. Of course, the interview that I listened to, the guy's like, well, we could, run our financial institutions more like they do in China. I'm like, no, I don't really.
That's the model we want to look to.
Exactly. I was like, I don't want to run anything like, I don't want to be more like the Chinese in really any way.
Yeah, exactly.
So, I just wanted to address that. Like, I understand the point that you're making, that it is privately owned. I don't dispute that.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it is beholden to the government, and all of those industries are subject to government oversight. But the central bank specifically, the Federal Reserve, is more than regulated by the government. It can be eliminated by the government. And the government can eliminate some of these other industries, sort of, or at least businesses within these other industries. They can't actually eliminate the industry. They can eliminate businesses within the industry through regulation and legislation, but not in the same way that they could eliminate the Federal Reserve. And I maintain that the only answer to the problems that the Federal Reserve presents to the economic health of this country is to eliminate the Federal Reserve. Like, I wish the government would do that. Like, exercise its ability to eliminate the Federal Reserve.
Yeah. When we get President Thomas Massey.
Yeah.
Hold my breath for that one, right?
Yeah, exactly. Always the optimist.
Yeah.
Okay. So those things out of the way. This is kind of what I wanted to talk about because it's a topic that should be talked about more, I think. At least I haven't seen a lot of it in major news.
Okay.
So, I mean, like I read a New York Times article and Wall Street Journal article, which is mainstream, but these were like back page articles. They weren't very big. The most information I got was from a couple of Substacks that like follow this kind of information. But here's what it's about. It's about Jared Kushner's Affinity Partners investment group.
Okay.
All right. So that's the grand topic here. Now, Kushner, who is a part of the Trump administration in the first term, is not a part of the Trump administration this term.
Yep.
You may not be aware because he's involved in everything.
Because he's doing a lot. Yeah.
But he's listed as a volunteer to the Trump administration. He holds no official title, yet he's been the front man for like all of the major conflict negotiations.
Yeah.
He and Witkoff.
Yep.
And the problem with this, of course, is that he is not subject to any kind of government like ethics oversight. Yeah. Or anything like that because he doesn't hold an official title.
Yeah. So he can be placing stock bets and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now, he began Affinity Partners, which is, like I said, is an investment group in 2021 after the first administration ended.
Yeah.
Okay. So fair enough. He received almost immediately $2 billion with a B, billion, dollars from Saudi Arabia's public fund, where they, the state invests, like it's a public fund for investment of their oil revenues.
Yeah.
Okay.
Good way to buy off people.
Now whatever kind of oversight of Mohammed bin Salman there is in Saudi Arabia reportedly advised against investing in Affinity Partners because Jared Kushner has no experience in investment of this type and so forth. So, so they were like, they couldn't guarantee returns and there was a concern about it. But Mohammed bin Salman said, no, forget it. I'm going to do what I want to do and gave him the $2 billion. All right.
This Trump thing may not be over yet.
Well,
I mean, that's the bet you're placing in 2021, right?
Yeah. And he received money from other Gulf states, like the UAE put in another $200 million. Yeah. And he's collecting more money now. Well, although he said that he wasn't going to collect any money during this new Trump administration. Yeah. He said, well, we can go 4 years without collecting any additional investment money.
And then proceeded to just do it.
But now he's doing it.
Yeah.
And 99% of the investment group's money is foreign investment money.
Okay.
Now he stated that the investment group has, through their investments that they've done so far, has received a 25% rate of return. But they haven't distributed any earnings to investors since 2021, really? When they started. There has been no distribution of earnings to any of the investors.
So are the investors just like letting it roll, or
apparently?
Yeah.
I mean,
it seems like when if
very
somebody
questionable.
Would ask about that.
Yeah, well, they probably have. This is where you start to have to consider, like, maybe they didn't give money to this thing expecting a financial return in that way.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, the investment in 2024, the election year, the investment funds grew from $3 billion to $4.8 billion before the end of 2024.
Oh, that makes sense because we're heading in.
Yeah. So, and it should be noted probably at this point that Kushner collects 1.25% of the investment value per year as a fee.
Nice. That's a sweet little gig if you can get it.
Quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
At the same time, his partner in crime here, Witkoff, co-founded World Liberty Financial, which is a crypto company or crypto investments or crypto something with crypto.
Yeah.
That I can't figure out, actually.
Yeah.
But it's related to crypto.
Okay. It's a crypto scheme.
Yeah. And the UAE's national security advisor purchased 49% of the company. I guess you'd say that's the, yeah.
Yeah.
49% of the company for $500 million, half $500 million, 4 days before the inauguration. And just as a side note, that deal was not publicly disclosed, and it was signed by Eric Trump.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow.
Now, it's important to note that the big investors here among these Gulf states are Saudi Arabia and UAE, because Saudi Arabia and the UAE's primary rival in the region is Iran.
Of course it is.
Right? So, and these are the guys negotiating towards an end of a war with Iran.
Negotiations that have
failed
literally
repeatedly.
blown up.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, they're saying that Iran is being intransigent. But what they've, think about this thing that they've asked Iran for, to completely eliminate their nuclear program, to give over all of the enriched uranium, to blow up their nuclear facilities, etc.
Yeah.
All right. So you're essentially asking Iran to give up its deterrent without giving them any kind of security guarantee.
Yeah. And these states,
who would ever agree to that?
Well, I mean, the lesson's already been learned. I mean, we saw what happened to Gaddafi.
Yeah.
I mean, that model stands. I mean, he gave up everything.
Yeah.
And then ended up the way he did.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And the counterexample, of course, is Kim Jong-un.
Yeah.
Or Kim Jong-il, really, I guess. But Kim Jong-un, North Korea, who refused to give up any nuclear program and has developed nuclear weapons, and nobody's messing with them.
Yeah. Yeah. That conversation's over.
And Iran was trying to play some kind of middle ground where they weren't developing nuclear weapons, but they wanted to make it clear that they had the ability to.
Yeah, yeah. Which, I mean, I don't want anybody to have nuclear weapons.
Yeah, me either.
I'm really tired of hearing the argument, though, because if that was truly the goal with what Trump is doing, then we'd have the inspectors in there and monitor it. Mm-hmm. That's the way you know.
Yeah, but he tore up that deal in his first term when he tore up the JCPOA.
Exactly. So there's because the truth be told, I mean, if Trump gets everything he wants, where does that leave us? With having to have inspectors there? Because even if Trump gets everything he wants in this deal a year from now, are we going to be worried about them doing something? The only way we know they're not doing it is to have the inspectors there.
Right.
So, I mean, where do we already had that deal, and that's the only path forward here. Mm-hmm. There's no way to, I don't understand how Trump gets what he wants without already having what he had.
Yeah.
I mean, if somebody can explain that to me, I'm more than happy to listen, but I don't, how do you make that work?
Yeah. I don't know either. I mean, I think that the best he can hope for is have another JCPOA, but call it his deal.
Well, yeah,
which would be the Trump-Iran deal.
And the truth is when he
Obama's Iran deal.
When he originally tore it up, that's what I figured we would get. Yeah. Was by the end of his administration, he would negotiate another one that he could put his name on. Mm-hmm. Of course, that didn't happen, and I think the reason that didn't happen is because this was always on the docket.
Yeah,
I think that this was a second-term thing. In retrospect, I think that this was a second-term thing that he had always planned on doing in the second term. Mm-hmm. All evidence seems to point that way that I can see.
Yeah. Well, the point I want to get back to though is that I read through this stuff and I was like, oh, so Affinity Partners is like the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, I mean that's what I would assume.
It is a way of covertly buying access to the U.S. presidential administration.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
They have collected a lot of money from people that are invested in what happens when we redraw the Middle East at the end of this conflict. And the people who stand to benefit financially from it are the ones negotiating.
Yeah.
And, I mean, the whole thing's
it's
a
crooked.
ridiculous mess. Yeah.
It's all crooked.
It's absolutely crooked. And just the fact that the investment amount grew almost 60% between the beginning and the end of 2024.
Yeah.
After being around for 3 years and not paying out any
yeah. It just
any
illustrates
revenues.
It's all right there. And if you think about it, like it's the perfect scheme. Like why wouldn't you, if you was Trump and these people, set something like that up?
Yeah. Now I said, I don't remember if it was the last podcast or the podcast before, we were talking about all this money moving around energy investments right before Trump makes an announcement and all this, and whether that was crooked. I'm sure some of it is. I think most of it is people just placing a bet.
Yeah.
They talk about the winnings. They don't talk about how much was lost in the same day.
Yeah.
On bad investments.
People going the wrong way.
Yeah. So I imagine that it probably doesn't balance out, but there's certainly some corruption in it, but I don't think the corruption is as big as they're trying to make it appear.
Yeah.
This, I think, is absolutely to the core corrupt.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see any way around it.
And I think that this is what people should be talking about.
Yeah.
I think this is an important thing that people should be talking about, because it shows the incentive to keep the war going.
Yeah. Yeah. Even though, like...
And in fact, if the war were to end,
yeah,
then these Gulf state partners that I think that Saudi's opportunity to reinvest or pull out comes up in August.
Yeah. And
so you kind of need to keep it going till then, because otherwise what is access worth to you?
Yeah. Yeah.
If it's over, then there's no sense in continuing to buy access.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's still perks to having the access.
Sure, but $2 billion worth? Maybe. It's a lot different when you're looking at the possibility of completely eliminating your biggest rival and redrawing
the maps.
Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe it is bad though, because every incentive for us is for this to end.
Yeah.
And I think all of us all of us that are in this camp have kind of hung our hat on that, this can't, things are only going to get worse from here. This can't continue. But when you look at what you're laying out, maybe there's a strong incentive for it to continue and things to just get worse for us, because we're going to feel this one at home. By the end of the year, inflation is going to be crazy again. Yeah. We're going to be right back at Biden levels, which I know that's not all Biden's fault. I'm just saying we all remember that time when inflation went crazy and how bad it got. And it never got better. It just, because inflation doesn't go that way. It only goes one direction. It's gonna be a rough second half here of the year.
Well, and I hesitate to bring this up because I can hear the anti-Semite accusations coming, but of the two major companies or major investments that the Affinity Partners has made, one of them is a big Israeli tech firm.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I think, actually, I want to shift this a little bit, because you did talk about, the negotiations were literally blown up. And that's another thing that I think that people don't appreciate the significance of. Yeah. Is that twice during negotiations with Iran, where reports from all sides were that things were going well, the negotiations were interrupted by us attacking Iran. Yeah. Militarily. And
then you wonder why the Iranians don't want to meet.
Yeah, and for some reason they don't want to continue negotiations.
Exactly.
I've been racking my brain. I didn't ask AI.
Okay, so you hadn't got a real answer yet.
Yeah, exactly. But I've been racking my brain. I can't think of any major power attacking another country in the midst of negotiations
Yeah.
when there wasn't an active war. Now, it's different. Like sometimes
It's different once the bombs have started falling.
Yeah, when the two countries are engaged in a war and they're negotiating and they're continuing to attack each other, that's different.
That happens, yeah.
But to be negotiating to try and prevent a war and
then
drop
just
bombs,
kick it off.
yeah. I can't think of any other major power that's ever done that. Not the Soviet Union.
Yeah.
Not even Stalin's Soviet Union, not Mao's China. Like, I can't think of any other power that's ever done that.
We've done it twice in this administration.
Yeah. And I think that that's actually like a really important issue that should be addressed and should be completely unacceptable for America to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree.
And we harped on it when it happened both times, so I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time on it here. But I do think that this is something that that people don't appreciate the significance of and aren't appropriately outraged about.
Yeah.
Because this affects our standing in the world to come. It's not just Trump. It doesn't matter. It's a show that America
will
has
not act in good faith.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same way with the Libya thing, with Gaddafi. Like that's still reverberating through things now.
Yeah.
And this what Trump has done twice now is going to have the same effect down the line 5-10 years from now. It's not going to be forgotten,
Yeah, I completely agree. I do want to bring up one more thing. The goal of this podcast is not to scare people.
Just to make you aware.
Yeah, as far as the Ukraine war, Russia's actions in the Ukraine war, there have always been people in Russia that have pushed the idea that Putin wasn't executing this war aggressively enough.
Yeah.
That's the best way I can say that, I guess.
We've talked about it on this podcast, that he could go a lot more aggressive than what he has.
Yeah.
Despite what the mainstream media has been telling you.
And there are factions within Russia that have been really pushing for this and criticizing him for it.
Yeah.
And and one of those wings has been promoting the idea of using just a couple of low-yield nuclear weapons to remind the West that Russia is a nuclear power.
Yeah.
That has essentially the point that they've been making is that Europe is
downwind.
No, actually they're not.
They're upwind.
Yeah.
Okay.
It kind of depends on where you drop it, I guess. But
yeah.
That Europe is dealing with Russia as if nuclear weapons were not a consideration.
Yeah. No, that's definitely true.
Yeah. And it goes back to Scott Horton's thing. He said, the nuclear issue has gone without saying for so long that now it goes without saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
That it's not something that you're like, that's in the back of your mind that you don't bring up.
Yeah.
It's something that you've forgotten about, so you don't bring up.
Exactly.
And so there has been a faction that has pushed for this, but it has been on the fringes, right?
Yeah.
Like just drop a couple of tactical nukes, remind people that we do have the capability to do this.
Yeah.
And we're willing to, because of course the United States is the only country in the world that has shown that it is willing to use nuclear weapons in a conflict.
Yeah. I was going to say, and that's actually would be a big step for them because they won't have that over our head anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. The concern is that with the losses that Russia has taken in this war, the criticisms of Putin have increased. They really want to bring this to an end sooner rather than later.
Yeah.
And so that fringe argument is working its way into the mainstream in Russia.
I can see that. I mean, it's the same. If you really think about it, that's the same argument that we made for dropping them in the first place.
Yeah, it is.
I mean, it's the logic is the same.
Too many losses if we continue this with the status quo.
Yeah, it's very
we need
easy
to bring a
start
quick end to the war,
drawing
and we
them
need
out.
to show the rest of the world that we have this capability.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that you just laid it out like that's it. That is the justification in World War II. So, and I'm not for that. I think that's like a dangerous thing for them to do, but
Absolutely.
it's out there.
Yeah. And then you start to wonder, well, what happens next if they do?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's no way we're going to tolerate
And since
that.
this is the argument is kind of squared on Europe, the way Europe is dealing with Russia.
Yeah.
The question becomes, do they drop it on Ukraine or do they drop it on like Poland?
Yeah.
And if they drop it on Poland, then that triggers Article 5, NATO. Like, so what happens from there? And
Yeah.
you know,
It's a very dangerous rabbit hole.
yeah, the hope on their side is that, well, if they drop a couple of small nukes, that the reaction will be, oh, I guess you're serious.
Yeah.
And then that's kind of the end of it.
I just don't see it going that way.
Or like maybe if they only drop a couple of small nukes, then the response is to drop a couple of small nukes and call it square there.
Yeah.
I don't see nuclear wars going that way. I think once a war goes nuclear, everything gets launched.
I mean, it's the escalation.
No holds barred at that point.
Yeah, it's the escalation ladder. I mean, it's you start once it happens. I just don't see how you come back down from that, because there's no way we're going to tolerate that as the U.S.
No,
even on the other side of the planet.
But we can't respond either.
Yeah, well,
this is the problem. This is the it's a catch-22.
Yeah, I don't know. It's not good.
No. So, how do we deal with Trump's family profiting off of his presidency, and how do we prevent nuclear war in Europe or in the Middle East?
Yeah. I mean, so I haven't really kept up with the Ukraine stuff. I mean, that's got to be coming close to a head pretty soon, right? I mean,
Russia's moving forward, but they've done this kind of slow plotting thing. I think that there's kind of a misunderstanding on both sides of what Russia's really doing.
Yeah.
Russia's not trying to take territory. Russia's trying to eliminate the threat of Ukraine, and they're trying to do that by eliminating their military capabilities, which they're doing a pretty good job of. Now, the problem is that Ukraine's military capabilities have been augmented by the drone war, which they have become very good at.
Yeah.
And that is also slowing things down and causing more losses to Russia than they anticipated. But Ukraine has a real severe manpower and equipment problem, except for those drones. The drones are cheap and easy to put together. They can put together a lot of them for very little money. It doesn't take them a lot of time. But the real military, like what we think of as traditional military weaponry, they're having some issues with, even though they're getting, a lot of stuff from, and have gotten a lot of stuff from Europe and the United States.
Yeah.
But they have a real severe manpower problem at this point. And
that's not going to get any better.
Yeah, I saw an article today that we'll say recruitment efforts have gotten very aggressive.
Yeah, that's been going on for a while.
Yeah, I mean, they've been like pulling people off the streets and stuff for a while, but now they're like fighting in the streets.
Really?
Yeah.
And it's bad when you're fighting your own people in the streets to get them to go fight in the war.
Yeah.
Like that's not good.
And be fodder, essentially.
Yeah. Yeah. No.
So if you ever wanted a Ukrainian wife, now is the time.
Yeah.
Not a lot of men left.
Not a lot of men left, yeah.
It's a disaster. This whole thing's a disaster. All of this stuff is a disaster.
Yeah.
Kushner's been part of those negotiations too, by the way.
Well, I haven't heard a whole lot on the Ukraine front lately, so I was just kind of curious.
Russia's still moving. Just moving slowly.
Yeah.
I mean, at this point, like they're both learning from each other, right? So Ukraine had this big counteroffensive a couple of years ago. They made some progress. They got beaten back eventually, but they made some progress initially. Then they tried another one later and didn't make any progress.
I specifically remember that one because it was such a big deal.
And they didn't make any progress because the Russians had time to dig in and set up defenses.
Yeah.
Well, now the shoe's on the other foot, but the Ukrainians learned how to set up defenses from trying to get through the Russian defenses.
Yeah.
So they're mimicking the way Russia was defending its side of the line, and which is way more effective than what they were doing before.
Yeah.
What the Ukrainians were doing before.
Yeah.
So
they're both just dug in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just the term meat grinder comes up a lot when they talk about the lines.
Yeah.
In Ukraine. But Russia is continuing to move forward. They continue to capture territory, but it's just hard fought, man. It's a little bit slog.
Yeah.
So given enough time, Russia will win. I mean, I think that there comes a time, well, it's harder to say that now with the drone war the way it is. Like, I would have said a few years ago, there's going to come a time, in fact, I did say a few years ago, there's going to come a time where there's going to be a real breakthrough where Ukraine just cannot set up a defense that's effective to prevent the Russians from moving forward.
Yeah. The drones have kind of changed that.
Yeah, I think the drone war changes that in a lot of ways because you have to expose yourself to move forward.
Yeah, yeah, and you're vulnerable to drones.
Yeah, and it's if they only have a couple of people, but they have a bunch of automated drones, thousands of automated drones, hundreds of thousands of automated drones.
Yeah,
you still can't move forward. You can move forward against just a couple of riflemen left.
Yeah.
If you can continue to put out thousands and thousands of drones to defend these spaces, then it certainly creates a different kind of barrier, I guess.
Yeah.
And the Russians are very good at electronic warfare, so there's been a lot of that. And I've heard stories that Ukraine along the fronts is like a spider web. There's all these little fiber optic.
I was going to say that the stuff they use to control the drones
lines, because the Russians were so good at electronic warfare, they couldn't radio control, so they switched to these direct control through fiber optic lines. And
I've seen those reports. Yeah,
it's something.
Well, here we are.
Yeah. I guess I don't have anything else.
Yeah. I don't. I was trying to think if there was anything else I wanted to touch on, but I think I'm good.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, this feels like
I was trying to come up with
podcast.
I was trying to come up with something positive to end on, but I don't know. Don't really have much. I think Thomas Massey's election is today. I think the primary started or something.
Okay. Yeah, they're trying to primary him out, right?
Yeah. So, if I'm not mistaken, today's election day. I've been trying to follow.
Good luck to Thomas Massey.
But I've been busy.
I heard he was on Tucker too, right?
He was on Tucker. A very good interview. I recommend it.
Yeah.
Tucker's killing it right now. So we had him. I
don't know. I think Tucker's kind of lost his mind.
Well, he's having a lot. Well, I meant killing it is he's kind of off. I don't know. He's not completely off the rails, but he's skidding.
Yeah.
But I haven't listened to it yet, but he's got Owen Benjamin on this week too. I just started it on the way over here.
I kind of miss Owen Benjamin.
Well, that's the reason when I saw it, I was like, oh, that's a listen. Like I gotta listen to that one. So if anybody doesn't know who Owen Benjamin is, go check out him on Tucker.
Yeah. He's a comedian.
Yeah, so keep that in mind.
Yeah, he's a comedian.
Yeah, and he's got an interesting story to tell. And like I say, when I started it, they're basically starting at the beginning. So you should get the full background on him. And while we're just plugging other folks' podcasts,
Sure.
Scott Horton is on Joe Rogan.
Okay.
I think they just
Really?
released it today.
That's cool.
So that's exciting because that's a man we want his side out there.
Yeah, we
And
got
that's
him
the
first.
biggest-
I just want to say that
Yeah, we had him
we
first.
interviewed Scott Horton before Joe Rogan did.
We did. That is factually correct. So, but yeah, I, like I say, and anybody who doesn't know who Scott Horton is, go check that one out because you ought to. So,
Yeah, he runs the Libertarian Institute and is editing director or something like that at antiwar.com. And antiwar.com, like if you're interested in American foreign policy, that's a everyday visit.
that's the place to be.
Yeah, like you want to know what the U.S. is doing in the world, go to antiwar.com. It's got articles from all sides.
Yeah, you'll get a full picture.
Yeah. All right. Well, I guess if we couldn't end on something positive in the world, we could end on plugging other people's podcasts. It's brilliant.
Yeah, right.
And maybe they're looking for. We should hashtag all of those podcasts, and maybe they're like looking for their mentions,
Yeah.
and we'll find us.
Yeah.
And say, yeah, well, I listened to this podcast because they said something about me and it was great.
All right. Yeah, maybe. Hey.
I don't know how to do that stuff, so
Yeah. I'm still trying to figure out how the internet works.
yeah. If there's a good social media marketer out there that wants to volunteer their time for us,
Or even just like do a little consultation.
yeah,
Because like I'm trying to do this stuff, but I don't understand it.
yeah. Michael at thelibertymic.com. That's Michael at thelibertymic.com. There you go.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, nothing going on next week that's gonna get in the way.
Man, so nothing that I can see at this moment.
Okay,
Like this
fair
week,
enough.
I mean, I'm here this week, and when I say this week's been a shit show, I'm not underestimate. I'm telling you, it has been. And I'm here, so
All right. Well, that's a good sign, I guess.
it is.
All right, so we expect to be back next week. In the meantime, you can follow us on Facebook. You can subscribe on iTunes, YouTube, and or Podbean. Like and share, comment. You can always email me at the same address that the social media marketer is going to contact me at, Michael at thelibertymic.com. And yeah, that's all our stuff. And tell your friends.
Yep.
We wanted to be a word of mouth podcast. Unfortunately, nobody talks to anybody anymore. So that didn't work out quite like we thought, but that's okay. Yeah. We're still going to encourage it.
It'll work out in the end. I'm still betting on it.
Hopeful.
Yep.
All right. Well, there's our hopeful note, I guess. So we'll be back next week when we finally get this right. And in the meantime, try to stay free.
Life short, live free.
Ciao.
Later.